Hi there and welcome back to our Advent story time. We continue on our journey to Bethlehem with the little bear and his companion the lamb. And our story takes a bit of a dark twist tonight. Sometimes we all make mistakes. We do things that we know are wrong, sometimes for reasons that we think are right, but they often aren't. The wonderful thing is that no matter what we do, we're loved so much by family and friends, and they'll usually forgive us if we say sorry. God always forgives us. He loves us so much and wants us all to know just how much we mean to him. So let's see what befalls little bear tonight, shall we, as we read the story, The Robber. On December the 14th, Benjamin opened the next door and found a robber. The little bear and the lamb stood at the edge of the forest. They did not see the dangerous robber hiding behind a tree, waiting to kill and rob anyone who passed by. But the robber saw them. They look just right, thought the robber. They'll make a nice lamb roast and a warm bearskin coat. Just as he was about to pounce on the little bear, the star flashed brightly, blinding the robber, who staggered about screaming, "My eyes, help, I'm blind!" He fell to the ground. The little bear knelt and placed his handkerchief over the robber's eyes. There, he said soothingly. I wish I could stay and help you more, but I must follow the star to Bethlehem to see the child who will be born. You should come with us, for perhaps the child can heal you." Ashamed, the robber grasped the little bear's tiny paw. "Thank you," he said. "I am so sorry. I promise I will never rob or kill again." He walked beside the bear and the lamb with every step towards Bethlehem. The darkness receded. After they'd walked together for quite a while, the little bear said, "Your legs are much faster. Go ahead of us. The star will guide you to Bethlehem." "That was scary," said Benjamin. "I'm glad the robber didn't get his lamb roast or bearskin coat." "Yes," agreed Mother, "and it's nice to know that if we are truly sorry, God always forgives us." Let's go through the window again and see what we have in store for our nativity display. Welcome back to our nativity scene. We haven't seemed to be much of a nativity. It's more of a crowd scene at the minute, isn't it? A bit like Bethlehem would have been, bustling and full of vibrancy, and lots of people gathered together for this census that was called during that time, just before the birth of Jesus. Lots of people hustling and bustling around a busy town centre, trying to find a place to stay, a place to rest their heads after long travels. Let's have a look and see what our next character is today. The character for today is quite a funny character. When I first saw this on that side, I thought it's a tree, but it's not a tree. It's a man with a basket of bread buns on his head, and there's birds that are helping him out in eating them. I'm not sure that they should, but one of the things that Jesus says in his ministry later on is that even the birds have clothes to wear and food to eat. And we're not to worry, that God provides for us, and that's exactly what happens. Sometimes God provides for us by helping other people to help us out. And we need to think maybe we're being called to help somebody else out. Maybe we're called to share our food in the same way that this man is sharing his food with the birds. Let's pop him into the nativity scene now. In he goes. Hopefully. There he is. Safely put in the scene. Very comfortable. I love that this scene's building up. I love that there's so many people there, because that's what Christmas is about, the enormity of people recognising God's love and grace in their lives. Come back tomorrow and we'll find the next character out. Bacon sandwiches. That's my favourite Christmas breakfast. A nice piece of bacon in a bread bun with lots of brown sauce. Do you have a favourite Christmas breakfast? It seems silly, I suppose, to eat so much early in the morning when we're going to have such a big lunch. But there's something comforting about the smell wafting through the house as we sit surrounded by wrapping paper and freshly opened presents. Today's story is all about a special, if unwanted, visitor and how a little boy's compassion helped it to be safe. This is called Jacob, the mouse rescuer. Brr, what a cold evening, said Mum, with a shivery twitch of her shoulders. A hot chocolate would be just the right thing. And who'd like some cookies to go with it? Me, yelled Dad and Jacob. Mum went to the storeroom and let out a loud shriek. Eek! Dad and Jacob jumped to their feet. What's the matter? When they looked into the storeroom, they saw a tiny tail sticking out from under a shelf. It's only a mouse, said Jacob, rather surprised at all the fuss. I don't want a mouse in my house, cried Mum. It's even been eating the sausages. We must set a trap for it. At once. Dad took Mum's arm and nodded in agreement. OK, I'll go and buy one tomorrow. No, cried the horrified Jacob. Please, Dad, don't do anything nasty to the poor little mouse. Sorry, Jacob, but we have to, said Dad. Mice have lots of little ones. If we don't get rid of this one, the place will soon be swarming with mice. Jacob sadly stirred his hot chocolate. Even the cookies didn't taste very nice now. Maybe Dad's right, he thought, but he felt so sorry for the little mouse. She couldn't know that the food in the storeroom belonged to the family. Perhaps they could put up a sign, no eating. Only mice couldn't read. Or, aha, yes, that was it. That could work. Suddenly Jacob felt happy again. He had a plan, but it had to remain top secret. The next day, Dad came home with 2 mousetraps. He loaded them with little pieces of bacon and put them into the storeroom. Jacob looked at him apprehensively. Do you think the mouse will come for the bacon while it's still daylight outside? No, said Dad. It'll probably wait till nightfall. It was really strange how that evening Jacob kept going to the storeroom. First he had to fetch some apples, then he had to put away Bobo's dog food, and then he had to clatter around with the broom. Eventually, though, Mum and Dad went to bed, and all was quiet in the house. Only Jacob lay awake, wide awake, in his room. He knew he had to act fast. A moment later, he was tiptoeing into the storeroom. Phew, that was lucky. The mousetraps were still empty. Jacob opened a bag. I hope the mouse will prefer cookies to salty bacon, he said to himself. He dropped a trail of cookie crumbs all the way across the storeroom and along the passage, opened the back door just a crack, and laid the remains of the cookie outside on the doormat. Then he put on Mum's woolen socks and Dad's winter coat and huddled up against the wall in the passage. Now he must keep perfectly still and wait. And then it really happened. In the bright moonlight, Jacob saw a tiny pointed nose with its whiskers trembling. The mouse ate one crumb after another. They tasted good, but they didn't fill you up. Maybe the bacon would be better. The mouse turned around just for a moment, but no, outside there was a really big piece of cookie. When the mouse darted out of the doormat, Jacob quickly and quietly closed the door. Yippee! Didn't I do well? Jacob said to himself triumphantly as he slid back into his warm bed. But would the little mouse freeze outside? No, it could creep into Bobo's kennel or the neighbour's stable. Jacob went to sleep with a big smile on his face. Strange, said Dad a few days later. I went and bought 2 mouse traps and yet there's no sign of a mouse in the storeroom. Where on earth could it have gone? No idea, said Jacob. Then he went outside, plodded through the snow, and put a little piece of cheese behind Bobo's kennel. Doing something good for someone or something else is really important. It's a really important Christmas message. That's why we give each other presents and why the wise men brought gifts to Jesus. Thinking of others and helping them, especially when they're struggling, is really important. Is there someone that you know that needs some help, that would benefit from you being there for them at this time? Have a really good night's sleep, and hopefully I'll see you tomorrow. Good night.